I was born in Raleigh
Oh, okay.
in '87, and I'm be 30. I'm 33. I'll be 34. I'm just different, I guess, and nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
Um, but as far as like how I would describe myself, like I guess trans man would be a fine label for it. Um, Definitely on the trans masculine spectrum, and on the queer slash homo flexible sexuality spectrum, just sort of open to whatever. I think I kind of have a unique perspective because you know, I live here, I work here, and I have been here since 2005. So I came up to Western for college and just decided I could never leave. Um, but I transitioned while I was in while I was at Western
Mhm.
and living in Jackson County, and that was a strange and interesting adventure. So, at one time I went through. Oh, and I started working at the local Walmart while I was in the middle of transitioning and right before I had surgery and all this stuff. And um, so one time I was going through the drive-through at Bojangles in Silva, and the lady at Bojangles said to me when I got to the window, "Ain't she the one that had the sex change?" And I was like, "Ain't you the one that's talking about something that ain't none of your business?" She's like, "Well, I was just wondering, you know." So like it became a weird educational experience for
Yeah,
a lot of people, just my existence being
sure.
here and like, living authentically was like something that a lot of people around here felt like they could just like ask me whatever, or, that I was going to be like a Google search for them.
Mm.
Um, so, that was kind of crummy. But as far as everything else is concerned, I did have a fairly easy time at Western. I
Mhm.
think I was sort of insulated by Western's more diverse environment.
Mhm.
Um, Although they didn't really have much experience and didn't know what to do with me when it came to living in the dorms and stuff.
Mhm.
So I ended up having to pay like $2,000 extra to live in a single what was the graduate student dorm at that point. It was
Mhm.
Madison, like a hotel style
Mhm.
setup, which was kind of cool, but it was like away from everything else on campus and kind of isolating. But so that was an experience there. Um, but most of the professors and working with people on campus, that was I had no problems with them not using the right name and stuff. Like everybody was pretty cool about it. But then again, that is like I said, the insulation of that more diverse community. So once you get started in town and you start branching out into the further areas of town, um, gets a little weird. um, so um, I mean, I've definitely had experiences like negative experiences where I felt very threatened and um, not safe in Jackson County as a queer person. But I've also had experiences where people have been really great. So I mean, take the good and you take the bad. When I came up for orientation, I met a bunch of the people in Be Glad, and we called them the Gay Mafia at the time. But yeah, I was like, okay, these people are my new people, and for the next 4 years, they were. And I'm still in touch with a lot of them. They also had a gay, bisexual, progressive men's fraternity called Delta Lambda Phi,
Wow.
and I was friends with most of them. I wasn't allowed to join at that point because back then it was very like cis centric, so trans men weren't yet invited to be a part of it.
Hmm.
But they had that, so that was um, something that was there for support. They had the Rainbow Room, which was a group kind of like group therapy or support group through the counseling and psych services. And I'm trying to think what else. Be Glad ended up, we changed it over because it was bisexuals, gays, lesbians, and allies for diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Aaron Camp, who was co-president with me at the time, we decided that we would change the name to Unity to be more inclusive of like the full,
Mm-hmm.
alphabet soup. So did that, and that lasted for several years, even after we were gone. But I was still in the community, so still involved in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was some stuff there, and it changed and evolved, of course, as things do. At this point, I would not feel very comfortable being very public, like on the streets public, like being affectionate to any partner. Um, at this, just because I think I may have felt more comfortable pre-Trump. I
Yes.
think that has really changed a lot of things and a lot of people's ideologies around here. Even if they were kind of whatever about it before, I just feel like that whole the Trump era has just messed so much up and made us go so backwards.
Mm-hmm.
When people feel more emboldened to react negatively and be shitty, basically. So I feel like right now I would not be comfortable with being, like holding hands with a partner in public. And I would like to have that happen eventually. I'm thinking about like traditional age
Mm-hmm.
students at this point,
Yeah.
but like know that you don't know very much and that you have so much to learn, and be very open and receptive to that. And people who have lived experiences around here, listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, and just be, I don't know, be ready to live an authentic life, but also know that you have a lot to learn about it. And you have a lot to learn about yourself. I know so much more. I don't know nothing about myself when I came up here. I mean, it took forever for me to like figure myself out, and I'm still learning about who I am. Um, and and also I know that a lot of people rely on those on labels to give them a sense of identity and to give them um, somewhere to go to support with other people who share that label and stuff. But you you don't have to. It's not a default. You don't have to choose a label, because everything is a spectrum, and you may feel one way and then discover some other things later. So you don't default just to do everything like everyone else. Um, you don't have to do it. You can do things your own way.